Millions will agree when I say that the Harry Potter series massively impacted their childhood lives. Translation, that shit fire. I didn't just read and watch all the movies. I put so many fucking hours into so many of the Harry Potter games. As a kid, I feel like I was qualified to be that man and fight old dusty bald head ass himself. I briefly mentioned two of my favorite Harry Potter games of all time in my GameCube Gems video. The Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets for GameCube are hands down my favorite renditions of Harry Potter, not to mention the other variations of those games. I'm talking Game Boy Advanced, GameCube of course, and the PC versions of those games are all completely different experiences and all feel like different games that you need to play. Minus the fact that it takes 15 days to troubleshoot all the issues the Sorcerer's Stone on PC has. It feels like you have to recode the entire game just for that shit to properly run, and even then, the 4x3 experience with meh graphics for its time can be annoying once you're finally able to launch the game without it traumatizing your PC. First two movies were by far my favorite, same for the video games. As the movies progressed, it was clear the direction the series was going. Obviously, shit started to become a lot darker as Harry was growing up. I was slowly losing interest more and more as the focus was aimed more on the dark realities set in that world. This trend is same with the games. I played the majority of the games, but I couldn't force myself past part 1 of the Deathly Hallows. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Don't get me wrong, games aside, I absolutely fucking loved the book and the movie series before all the heavy breathing dipshits start smashing their keyboards in the comments. I'm just saying, as a kid, I started to be less hyped the darker it got, and I feel the same way about the games. First two, literally god tier. Third game, shit starts to get interesting, but iffy. Fourth game, okay, it's Harry Potter, so I'll give it a try. Oh god, what the fuck is this shit? And after that, I pretty much just went back to the first two games. The first two, I guess I'll even count the third game as the type of single player game where you actually follow the story, have secrets, and you're welcome to an amazing open world experience. Harry Potter is the type of storyline where you should be allowed to explore Hogwarts, Diagon Alley, the magical world itself. Newer games like The Order of the Phoenix and so on have a semi-open world exploration experience, but for me personally, those games lost its flair. The movement looks borderline autistic, everything was extremely discolored and bland, like it's the next Call of Duty or some shit. Simple mechanics were f***ed with and ruined for no discernible reason. Shit was just a mess. We come to games as an escape from our dog shit lives. Games allow us to make our degenerate level fantasies into a reality. I remember when I was like 8, being able to not only be Harry Potter, but experience what it would have been like to be a 12-year-old crackhead at Hogwarts was a more magical feeling than actually being a Hizzard wary. Let's start from the beginning. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, same shit. The Game Boy Advanced and PC versions of the game were pretty fun. You know, when you step outside, which is rare, trust me, I know the struggle, and you see kids with their fat heads glued to their parents' phone or iPad. That was me with the Game Boy. Like I said earlier, you always see, especially nowadays, where games will be on multiple platforms. That's just a standard today in gaming, but the game is pretty much always identical across the board. Back in the day, with how many different levels of hardware limitations gaming platforms had, the same game on different platforms, they were a completely different experience. Developers would have to rework and create their own versions of the game to fit what that console was capable at the time. This allowed developers to be creative by tweaking and altering their version of the game to make it unique from the other variations on those different platforms. This trend obviously follows to the Chamber of Secrets, the second game, but nothing will compete with the graphics, voice acting, and overall feel of the GameCube version of these games. How in the does the GameCube beat the PC in graphics? This shit looks like spam if it was digital. Smeared diarrhea. The fuck is this? Starting the game, lit cutscenes. First bit of gameplay, picking your wand. I've already bust. Environment is a big thing for me in single player games. I need to feel immersed and focused on what's going on. There's a reason why I had my parents read me the books when I was a kid. 1, I was young as fuck and I didn't know how to read that well. And 2, even if I did, I would have spaced the fuck out and forgot what I read after the first sentence. Every level, even the beginning, the environment is amazingly accurate, which leads into my next massive love for these games, masturbating. Wait, I mean exploration. I love how many random secrets there were in the first game. Creating an open world environment obviously encourages the player to explore, but rewarding those who really start to notice small details within the game's design, that's something I didn't see a lot in the Chamber of Secrets. It felt a lot more linear and started to lose its difficulty and rewarding feeling once you figured out the patterns of how secrets were being placed. Controls, music, music and the detailed sounds throughout both games exceed just doing their job. The controls are oh so creamy smooth and give you easy maneuverability of your rule-breaking retard. Disregarding the classics, atmospheric music, especially when it's nighttime and Harry's trying to sneaky boy through the castle hiding from the PPs. What? Prefects and professors. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if JK said Harry was gay and his entire relationship with Jenny was just a cover-up so he could fuck Ron in the ass. It's fine. The music was perfect for these types of scenarios and is something that has stuck with me since I was a child. Small shit like that means a lot to me because usually I don't give a fuck, so you know it means a lot. More on exploration. Being able to literally explore the entire outside part of Hogwarts was something I took for granted until the Chamber of Secrets came out. I was so fucking disappointed when I wasn't able to walk outdoors like you can in the first game. You kind of just teleport to the location you're wanting to go to, but there's no in-between. You feel very trapped since the majority of the game is inside the castle, which is fine. It just feels like they disregarded everything that happens outside of the castle in that game, losing a large amount of adventurous possibilities and secrets. Being able to fucking fly on your broomstick whenever you wanted once you received the Nimbus 2000. Boy, I got so happy I shit my pants. But again, something the Chamber of Secrets took away was being able to hop off your broom anywhere on top of or outside the castle. For example, you can't get to the back of the map where there's a dock, which by the way has a chest hidden in there. You can fly over there in both games, but you can't get off your broom to explore. Just look around at some bullshit while dumb constantly says, "What's that over there?" It's a fucking ring, dumbass. Now I want to talk about the transitions from the first to the second game. It's hard to replicate the feeling of continuation, feeling like you, the player, are coming back to something great, something you've missed for over a year, much like school. Just fucking kidding, but you get the point. That's the feeling I got once the Chamber of Secrets was finally released, and I went to my stingy ass GameStop in the mall no one likes, but everyone hangs out at because they're lazy pieces of shit, and I got my copy of Nintendogs because the game I actually wanted was sold the fuck out. Not because a lot of people wanted the game, just because they didn't have all for stock, apparently. Once I got the game and started playing, it really did feel like I had come back home where I belonged. A feeling like that for a video game is both sad, but it's also special. Or maybe I'm special in the head. There were a lot of small and annoying issues from the first game that were improved on or fixed entirely in the second game. Simple shit like slow animations. When you're flying on your broom, there was a big ass line taunting the majority of your screen, just blinding you. That's finally fixed, thank God. Stiff controls when trying to interact or lock on to someone or something. Camera angles were fucking garbage at some points, typically in small areas. Harry not saying every fucking Birdie Bot's beans he picked up and ate. God, that was the dumbest shit anyone's ever put into a game. Much like the first game, there were times where you'd enter an area and you'd have to use a spell to be able to open a chest, but there was another chest or secret that required a spell you didn't have at that time. Replayability in the sense of not making an explorable room irrelevant immediately after scratching the surface of what's accessible and available. I like the simple mechanics of having to come back once you've progressed further into a game and you've unlocked more spells to grow your card collection and have even more fucking health. Holy shit, why? Changing up small bits of gameplay to really spice up the overall game. Subtle yet big changes like reworking the saving functionality altogether. In the first game you could save whenever the fuck you wanted, like a baby back bitch, but in the Chamber of Secrets, they changed how you save by turning it into an interactable item. This makes dying, getting caught at night, or just failing a task in general have a lot more risk if you're not able to spam save every 5 seconds like it's a NES game. Picking up beans wasn't just for shits and giggles. There was a reason to collect as many beans as you could. In the first game, after shortly getting settled in the Gryffindor common room, you're introduced to the shop Fred and George set up. Birdie Bot's every flavored beans was the universal currency the school used, including their shop. My point to this is, yeah, they had some cool shit in their shop in the first game. They even had early implementations of gambling. Typical CSGO bullshit right there. At least it wasn't with real money. The second game, they continued this shop, but added a lot more shit you can buy. A lot of it was random, fun, unnecessary stuff. Some of it was utilitarian, but not necessary. But what I love the most is working towards getting 100 beans to get the Alahamora spellbook, exclusively sold at their shop. This gives beans and their shop a lot more value and an actual reason to want to save up. Last thing I want to talk about, house points. Impactful in both games, but all you had to do in the first game was pretty much not be a dipshit and not get shit grades in all your classes. Wow, life lessons in video games. If you got caught by prefects at night, which by the way, there were a lot more in the first game, you never lost any points. You just respawned and tried again because the game knows you're trash. But in the Chamber of Secrets, there's actual risk of not only losing your house points, but it makes it a much more competitive event because of this risk. If you get caught multiple times, especially when you're trying to get into the restricted section of the library, you could lose some serious points and end up losing the house cup for the year. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sure why I wanted to make this video. I don't even really know what this is exactly. I just got bored one day when streaming on Twitch because we're all fucking quarantined and can't do shit anyway. There's not a lot of fun games out right now, so I decided I'd play the first 2 Harry Potter games on stream. I hadn't done it in almost 3 years, and I thought it was about time. I had such a good time replaying them for probably the 15th time at this point, but that's kind of why I made this video, to just talk about some old games revolving around a universe that has personally been a part of my life for over a decade now. Video games don't really impact me like they used to, whether that be due to personal changes, life changes, or just the fact that games suck compared to the good old days. It's fun to look back and even pick up and play old titles that meant so much to you as a kid and still do to this day. I'm literally 22 now. My birthday was a couple days ago, and I was probably playing this when I was like 8 or 9. That shit's crazy to think about. There's a lot more I could have talked about in this video. I could have gone a lot more in depth in general, but I also don't feel like making a 40-minute video just for it to be auto-demonetized. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If not, then suck my elbow or some shit. Hope everyone stays safe. Trump just moved our lockdown till April 30th. I typed that like a week ago in the script. It's like April 5th now, but still. So I guess I'm gonna be celebrating my birthday at home. Again, birthday was on the 3rd. It's like the 5th or 6th now. Already had my birthday, and I was correct. I just want some damn sushi, man. Alright, like, subscribe, whatever. Bye.